Hello there, welcome to another talk. And today's podcast, talk, meditation is called Only Ignorant People Think It's a Real Third Eye. And that's exactly what it is. You know, excuse me, because even the body doesn't exist. Because if you look at, you don't actually have a third eye, because everything that we think we are is a bunch of stories, right? For example, look around you and you will notice everything around you is made up by someone. Wherever you are right now. Right? So everything's made up. As Steve Jobs once said, everything is made up by people who are no more smarter than you. And that's the way it is. It's all made up. It's a bunch of stories. It's all ideas. Right? The idea of something feeling good, okay, and then they give it a name. Let's call it tantric or kundalini or orgasm or, and that's what they do. And the next question is, why do people feel the need to do this? Because, see, the sheeple is not just those that, like, symbolic of it is, the face nappies. But that to me isn't a sheeple. A sheeple is someone who follows the shepherd wherever taking him. There's all different directions the shepherd's taking you. Not just one way, They've got to be. If they just did that, people would suss it out. But again, sussing what out? Because anything that you think you're sussing out is also stories you're feeding yourself. So, but regarding third eyes, a lot of Indian people who have got, India's got a very good. I've never been there, but it's got a very good reputation. I've got quite a lot of Indians that follow me on Instagram. And they do seem to me to be, even the normal Indian seems a lot more aware than people probably here. Alan Watts, when he was alive, said that you can go to the shops in India and people say that they're God all the time. But back to the topic in hand, not going to go off topic here, but a lot of Indians say it's just a dot. Yeah, it's just energy points. But again, those ideas, those energy points people think they're experiencing is a bunch of stories again. And how much stories, it's in the subconscious, isn't it? So of course you're going to, you talk to any psychiatrist. You talk to any psychiatrist and psychologist. They will tell you that if you subconsciously believe something, subconscious is very powerful. I could go off topic there as well, but it's not totally off topic. But my point in this talk was, some ignorant people actually think there's an eye in the middle. No. It's like the body. What is the body? It's a bunch of signals that they're like entities. And they feed stories to each other. It's all stories. It's all stories. All make-believe. And the truth is, there's nothing at all. There is no you, there is no third eye, there is no chakras, there is no anything. You take away the labels, the names, the stories, the children's make-believe stuff, and you're left with absolutely nothing. And that can't even be defined, because as soon as you define nothing, you've defined it as something, your imagination. But if it's really nothing, you can't experience it. So, and then you come to this thing of, I don't know. If you watch my talks or listen to my talks a lot, you'll notice that I say I don't know a lot if you watch my posts. Yeah, so that's the thing about it. It's all stories. It doesn't matter what kind of story it is, who you believe you are. It's all stories. Even the concept, it's all concepts. The concept of awareness, that's another concept. If you take away all the ideas, you'll come to that conclusion of you don't know. And maybe that is the place that we should be trying to get to. Because if we, if we enter into that state of I don't know, then that's when you can be shown something. See, human beings are too full of themselves. That's why I put a post earlier, I can't remember, was it today or yesterday, about special and chosen. I'm not saying that chosen people are better, but I'm saying that I don't know thing, they're very humble. The people that go through these awakenings, in the dream, the characters, they seem to be more humble, a lot more humble, But again, what am I doing there? I'm saying that that's what I apparently see happening, but that's again stories, and the apparent reality is based on the stories that the other characters are creating. The third eye, it's another story. It's all stories. The truth is, when you realize, once you really take it all away, you'll think, I don't know. I don't know. You don't know. It's like at the start of this unexpected spiritual awakening, I was like, I've had this awakening, it's a process. And then as you go further on it, the more you realize that there's just nothing. And not even nothing, because no one can define nothing, so there can't even be nothing. And then I'm like, I don't know. And that's what I meant when I posted on Twitter earlier today, saying special people were, this chosen ones, were special. I didn't mean they're better. I meant that they've got, they realise that they don't know anything. And that's when you're open to knowledge. You see? What people call the higher worlds, yeah, you can tap into that then. You can be open to something little. When you're like, I don't know, you could see like a miracle. It could be a piece of paper on the floor and it's showing you something about reality, but if you think you know it all, you would never look at any little things. You see? A spiritual awakening is really the divine. It's about these little things that when we're big heads, we don't notice it. I'm not going to say get rid of your ego, because as soon as you get rid of your ego, you got another ego. Excuse me, you can't get rid of that. But this topic, is only ignorant people think it's a real third eye. Yeah, you don't even have a body. There's no you. There's no anything. It's just conceptual ideas, stories. And the madness, the insanity, is when you believe in it. You see? When you let all that go, that's when you become present. People talk about tantric awareness and stuff like that. For those that don't know what that is, that that's your orgasmic source version of you. But what are they talking about? They're talking about nothingness. That's what nothingness is. When I say nothing, I don't mean God doesn't exist. God does exist. God is the infinite creator, miracle manifestation power that is within nothing. And ultimately, as we're all the same infinity, that's why racism is stupid. Because it's the same infinity. I have a self-suggestion I say to myself every day. I say, I'm the one infinity. And because that's it. We're all one. And so that's why this talk is important, because you could be identifying with the third eye. If you'll identify with a third eye, which is like a separate entity in your experience, in your imagination, then that can lead you to identifying with black and white, and in the astral world, what Christians call heaven, they go by the law of one. Heaven, is another. It's all dreams / movies, simulations, but they do exist. But like I was saying earlier, if I can't define nothing, I don't know. So, but that's how I'm open to knowledge. You see? Ultimately, you're the one infinite creator. And that your third eye is just as important as anything else. It's all miracle manifestation within nothingness. So the Big Bang would have occurred because the nothingness within it was the light. Right? It's like the dark night and the stars. They are one. And law of one, if you've not heard the law of one, look it up. And that's the law that the Galactic Federation of Light go by. And this awakening is about basically getting into the new earth and take us into the new earth and getting us to be part of the Galactic Federation of Light. And the chosen ones are starseeds. Dolores Cannon said waves of volunteers started in 1952 onwards. But again, that's part of this dream. And what is being fed to me as I say that is stories. It's all stories. So when you take away the stories, you take away the narratives and the stories, the ideas. What you're left with, you'll say nothing, but then you have an idea then of what nothing is. And then that's a conceptual thing. So then you're left with, I don't know. And that's when you've cracked the code, you see. Enter into that place of I don't know, and that's when you've returned, like a song by Enigma, Return to Innocence. That's how you spiritually awaken. When I had this, well, not me, but in this dream, this character had this awakening. I was 24, I'm 34 now, and I had enough. And then awakening happened. Basically went within the heart chakra, was authentic for the first time, and now I realised that it was all, my life was just a story. It was just stories, and I believed it. It's fun, it's for fun. That's what all it's for fun. Right? The baddies exist as part of the movie, right? So don't worry about it. And the twin flame thing, tantric awareness and all that fun stuff, that's coming. For those that are following their hearts and awakening. I think David Icke says it right, that, we're just awareness. And I'll end on this note, infinite love is the only truth, everything else is an illusion. And that's what David Icke said. So I'm just going to leave it on that note. For latest updates, talks, news, research, please do visit my website at www.lovelikeFamily.com.